All right, welcome back, guys. Hey, for y'all that keep clicking on the things as they pop up live, we appreciate you. I know that last section we had a little bit of technical difficulty, and we'll continue working through those as the day goes on. Look, there's probably going to be 300 or 400 administrators, and there's other contributors and people with booths. Everybody's trying to use the same Wi-Fi, so of course that's going to be it's going to play heck on a live podcast. But we'll figure it out. We'll make things work as the day goes on. Joined now by Mark Bridges, and every time that if you listen to the podcast, I'm sure most of you do, you hear the Ace Sports ad. You probably skip it by this point because we've had it there for a couple of years now. It seems like you're a year at least. You've been a sponsor of the podcast, and we greatly appreciate that. But more than anything, we're just glad we can push your product. But you've heard us talk about Mark. Well, I'm finally bringing Mark on. Ryan is stuck in Oklahoma. RJ we'll bring on later today at least once. He's going to be the Kentucky rep, him and his wife Holly. But we got Mark the man here with us now. So. Mark, Ace Sports, man, tell us about it.
Well, Ace Sports is a video board, school board company. We're what we know of one of two raw manufacturers out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and we have branches across the country. And we're putting a very heavy emphasis now in Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and the Midwest, and that doesn't exclude Wisconsin or other particular states in this vicinity. But that's why we're here. We're going live for the first time at our booth with you guys, which is kind of cool in itself, and so we just wanted the coaches to know that wherever they are, whatever state they're in, get ready. This wave started about 10 years ago, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow, and that's exactly what the overall vision was for us back then.
You talked yesterday, and you compared it to turf. And I remember when everyone had grass fields and turf slowly started.
That's right.
Weirdly enough, it seems like in the South where we get the most sun to grow the best grass, but they want to play on turf.
Yep, that's correct.
I talked to Joe over in Virginia, and he's like, some schools have turf, right? Like they're still playing on dead, cold grass up there. So
yeah.
I don't know but it is taking over. Turf is a huge wave, and now everybody's getting it. They're finding ways to invest in that because you can use it for so many more things. So once you said that, I was like, dude, he's spot on. Like these video boards have slowly, and now we're gaining a little bit of momentum. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I will use Kenny Simpson as an example. And he had already had turf, so he may not be the best example, but I've had other coaches say, hey, we're going to put the turf project on hold. And that's hard for a football coach, and then what they see is a greater value in a video board, and here's why. The video board is a money-making machine. Turf is expensive too, very. You don't have to get $1 million video board, right. But turf is not cheap, and you've got to do it right, your base and all of that. And if you kind of go the different direction, you may pay the price on that,
right.
Down the road. And many coaches know exactly what I'm talking about regarding that foundation and stories that are out there. Well, in the video board world, we're bringing you a cash cow. One of the ADs across the country calls it his personal slot machine. And he's like, man, this guy told us this like 8 or 9 years ago. We're like, hey, our vision is just now taking off. We don't have the data we want to have, but if they breathe and live in that community and own a business, they're going to hear from Ace Sports.
Yeah.
And coaches were a little surprised, admin, board members, boosters, of how much money was being left on the table, not in your prominent communities, not in the middle of the road, but your smaller classifications, was kind of shocking to them. And so Kenny wanted to build a revenue stream, a revenue platform, not only to get the video board paid for. That's number one. We got to start there, and that's why we created the business model. We're going to help put boots on the ground, normally about a 200-hour minimum. We're there. A lot of times a coach will hear this, and they go, does that mean we've got to go raise the money, or does that mean you're going to come on site? How does that work? Flesh that out. Well, we're going to give you our all to help bring that revenue back to your football program or to your athletic department, however that needs to work itself out.
Right.
And the goal is to get the board paid for because you don't have one. And there's always an excuse. There's always shenanigans. There's always a board member or two or three that just said, why do we spend that kind of money on? No. This has now revolutionized schools with CTE, with that academic curriculum that we drop in your lap. It's a 3-year program. And now they're looking at it from an academic standpoint, merging with athletics. And so things are changing. And if you don't have live production over the long haul, families will leave your school.
Yeah.
And they will send their kids to other programs that have a little more bling bling than yours does. Sorry, that's just the truth.
The ability, connectivity, I guess I will say, of today's athlete, the ability to get film out there, to get recruited, it's at an all-time high. And we're providing, this is just another way. Talk about having and you said it yesterday, and I talked about it in the last hour, but that NFL product quality production going on. And not only does the athlete get he had a good game, great, and he got put out there, in a great look. People are actually watching. It's not just huddle focus. Nothing is huddle focus. That was a great thing for its time.
Yeah.
But I'm not just watching a still camera. But now we've got kids that are on there and they're commenting about the games, right? And now we have kids that are running cameras. We got kids that are doing all the behind the scenes production, switching cameras. We're teaching what you might have to be in your 3rd year of college to learn how to do all this stuff. And kids in high school can do it now. Maybe they never end up in that career, but you get a job shadow out of it.
Absolutely.
You gain skills that, I started doing a graphic design in the last 2 years, and if I had started 20 years ago in high school with something as simple as this, where would I be? And maybe I would have just burned out and not liked it back then. I don't know, but you never know. But that's a skill you can gain and carry forward. It's going to help no matter what you end up in. Plus, we're still bringing that monies in for the athletics program.
Absolutely. Well, and you're getting into the heart of the secret sauce of a junior high kid can now build a portfolio through radio, television, and broadcasting, and AV tech and film right out of the classroom, and then go live.
Yeah.
Come on. What school district is saying, no, we're not interested?
Yeah.
You probably should get voted off the board or demoted as an AD or a coach or a superintendent. And one of the biggest hurdles, yes, there is a sticker shock value in a video board, which is why we created the business model we have. We don't want any more excuses. And we get some coaches that are eager. We've got one right now in Alabama. He heard about our business model from the podcast. He calls me. He's over the top. He's down there raising money himself. We know we have to have a partnership with you guys to buy from you, and you're not going to come down here and test the waters and let's see what maybe we can come up with. No. He's on board. He's got his principal on board. We just had a meeting with him, and that's the hard part. And I'm always going to mention this in every one of our segments. We've got to bridge the chasm, the gap, from that soup or that board member or that booster club or that principal who has buying power. If you have not heard anything I've said in the last 3 to 4 minutes, hear this. We need a sit-down meeting with them so they can understand the vision, process it, let it marinate inside of them, and then the light bulbs go off. It's amazing how many of these coaches, Daniel, we have talked to on the phone all across the country that, hey man, give me some numbers, give me a quote. Man, this is not normal, okay,
right,
to show up and go now. And I remember Trent Dilfer, let's use him as an example. Trent Dilfer got in my face, pulled his chair up and said, I got one question. How in the world does your firm make money? And I said, Trent, we do it on the video board, where you put up a big Jumbotron at this particular school, and people see it in your conference and in your outside of your conference and that home away schedule. We call it the home away times 3 because you're inundating them now with some bling bling, and they're like, whoa, we want that, we want that.
Where did you get that at?
Yeah, where'd you get it? Who? Well, that's how we make our money back, by letting this snowball itself. The best marketing we could do is put a board up in the states that we're not in. And those coaches that are listening now, if we're not in your state, you get an automatic huge discount right out of the gate. And so Dilfer was just really intrigued with the business model. He said, man, my director of operations and my director of football, or whatever his title was, development. Must be nice to have that when he was in a high school program.
Hey, let's go.
He's like, they vetted your firm like the federal government, checked your references. We're like, is this true? Are they really raising this kind of money at that particular time, we're around the $25 million mark. Now we're over the $40 million threshold.
That's crazy.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah.
This has only been a 9.5-year window. And if more ADs, more superintendents, more principals, and those who have buying power, they knew that this existed, we would get a lot more phone calls and texts and emails. And that's why we're on this podcast. It's coming.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk fundraising for a minute. So I grew up in a time where you had to sell a knick-knack, right? You went to grandma's house and you sold cookie dough, you sold beef jerky
Oh, that's
sticks.
still going on now.
Yeah, and I don't need one more item in my house. My house will blow up if I put one more item in
Man,
it.
I'm
So the
tired
last
of getting
thing
those texts and emails, by the way.
Yes, and so the opposite of that is just like a flat donation, right?
Yeah.
And you go out and you say, hey, donate to us. Give us your money. But there's got to be an in-between. And I feel like Ace Sports, you talk about closing the chasm, that's it. That's the one I think you've already closed, because I don't want another knick-knack. I don't need another poorly produced mass production thing in my house to say that I love my grandchild more than the grandma next door loves hers. You know what I mean? I don't need that. What I do need as a business owner is a way to give money to an organization that allows me to write it off. I've still helped out someone in my community. I watch the monies go directly to my community. So tell me about that. How did y'all work that into a business plan where you took the stupid little knickknacks out of my house and now I get a tax write-off as a donation to it?
You bet, man. I remember, this principle years ago, bigger check, bigger write-off. I mean, there are people looking to give somewhere. Whether it's a corporate entity, a personal business, whether their daughter's a kindergartner. And this is where we realize most ADs don't want to be fundraisers.
Right.
But they're given that task, and then the booster club has a full-time job, and they're struggling to really make this reality all the time. So we were like, well, we'll be that third-party asset for you. We'll come in and drive the entire campaign. And I've got a story where we raised $800,000, and it blew everybody's mind because they were like, you can't do that here, or it's just, that sounds far-fetched. And I said, bring them to the first meeting. Let me cast a little bit of vision, just a little bit. We're not going to be on, or luncheon or whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll do that. I had one guy show up at a meeting one time. You know how much he gave? $500,000. He owned his own construction firm. You think he's struggling, for cash? But he had been an alumni at this particular school, and he's in his 60s now, and he's hearing that we're going to do this. He's like, I'm in. This is not cookie dough. Nothing against those fundraising companies that hound every coach and every team. You got to have something in your budget, to be able to do what you need to do. This is different. Yeah. This is getting the board paid for. This is building a revenue stream and platform long time over a major ROI of return value. And that's what we didn't quite fully understand yet. How does this work in hard areas, smaller areas, and is this just kind of a pipe dream for those schools that struggle with funding? No, there are people all over the community that have never been asked. And then when you do a thorough research on that, and now you're doing something like this is not cookie dough, to use that as an example, and they want to buy in. They want to be a part of being proud of, look what we've got at the football stadium now, that we just went from a flip phone to a smartphone. And that's the thing that I use as an analogy. You're still holding on to that old school scoreboard that I grew up with, you grew up with.
Half the lights are burnt out.
Some still have the fluorescent bulbs. And it just doesn't seem to be a priority sometimes in the decision makers' minds. And that is the number one thing. If they could see it, if they're not interested in being a part of a meeting, or that sounds too far-fetched when the assistant coach runs back, or the head coach who has called us many, many times, guys, you have got to sell that moment for us. Because as soon as you do, the data on those schools that buy and the ones that are still stuck is astronomical when we have that meeting with the authorities that have the freedom to purchase.
For sure. We'll kind of get out of here with this. I don't want to keep you on forever. I know we're going to have a few of these today with Mark, so we can kind of talk different pieces of this vision. The old 70-30 split, that was the fundraising, right? So I put my army of minions to work. And they go sell thing A, and they make $100, and I put 30 of those dollars into an envelope and I give it to you. with something as stupid as a discount card, because you paid a printer a few bucks to print out 1,000 discount cards, right?
Yeah.
I hate that model, and I will use the word hate because it drives me nuts. And I know there's firms out there making their money that way.
Well,
and
and
that's
they
what
kind of, some of those kind of have to do that.
they have helped
we
many
don't.
schools get things they didn't have before.
Right, we don't.
You're breaking that mold. You're throwing that mold in the trash can.
No, there's no charge
There's no
up front.
split here.
No, there's no charge. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say that again, Coach. We do not charge you to come in a 10,000, 15, 20, or a % to do a sport marketing campaign. And secondly, and this is where Dealford got real excited, we do not take a % of any dollars that comes to the video board campaign. Nothing. Sound system, production gear, you name it. Anything associated with this and the dollar amount is yours. The only thing we want you to do is not buy a cookie cutter little boy video board over a school board that is in most of your backyards. Hello? Unless I take you to Texas and some venues in Arkansas and maybe a few in certain states that are there, it is not the norm. It is not the norm. And they'll settle on something. Hey, we got that Nissan, Altima, where they could have gotten a Mercedes. Because now you're having people who make subjective decisions with budget and dollars that they've never bought a video board. Where'd you get that number from? I asked them. Well, we're just not going to spend. Well, why not? Well, just like they can't talk. Well, we're just not going to spend $250,000 on a video board. You're not listening. You're not listening.
It pays for itself in 3 months.
Hello, McFly. Hello. I mean, it's like I can't tell you all of the rebuttals I've gotten over the last 11 years from school board members, boosters, or admin. And don't bring the CFO to the first meeting, for the love of God. Keep them away. There's a reason they're sitting in that row. They're looking at black and white.
Money.
Yeah, they're like, well, I mean, I just don't do, unless they're sport minded. They're buying into the bigger vision. They're an entrepreneurial mindset, and they can be advantageous and I'm telling you, get a booster club guy, get somebody in the community that get fires up about that football program, and this will be a success. We will lock arms with them. We will train them. We will help them see the bigger picture. And I had one school who shut his whole booster club down for 2 months and said, Mark's going to come in. No offense, but we're going to come in and we're going to look at the bigger picture. And they were like, holy cow. You're bringing in the booklets. It's tailored with all of these packages. It's tailored toward in-game incentives on who gets the touchdown sponsor, the first down sponsor, the medical timeout sponsor. This is a well-oiled machine that we didn't have.
Right.
We just had a few schools buy in and go, well, go get some money, Mr. Sport Marketing Video Board Firm. And I was like, all right, over my dead body, we're going to go raise money. Now, we didn't know we were going to go from the swimming pool to the Mariana Trench to the Pacific Rim to have to raise $1.2 million, but we were successful. And that school's in the black right now. And so that's why I get so fired up about this vision, because it's contagious.
Absolutely. One last thing, and I don't want to make Mark say it, but there are competitors out there. There are guys out there with weird payment plans. I've heard the percentage plan, right? We're not going to charge you anything to put this board on your property, but we're going to take a percentage for the lifetime of the board. Stay away from those guys.
Well,
right?
that's very risky.
Those
it
companies
sounds
don't
good.
exist in 10 years, and then you want your warranty? Well, sorry, buddy. The company's not around anymore to warranty your board. Stay away from the competitors. They're all going to have a pitch. They're all going to have a sales pitch that sells you on what they're selling. This vision, Ace Sports vision, is the one it's real. It's real. We've seen it work. You put all the money in your pocket. Okay, it's the place to be.
That's right.
All right, Mark. We will close this one out, and then, like I said, we'll bring you back on in a couple hours, and we'll talk the next piece. Having a great time here in Kentucky.
This is awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Our booth's surrounded by people now. I need to go talk to them.
Yeah, by all means, go talk. If you are in the Kentucky area, if you're in Louisville, or maybe you're a little drive away, come see us. We're at the Athletic Directors or Athletic Administrator Convention here at the Marriott East.
Yeah,
so in
East.
Louisville.
Yep.
So come say hi. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you in about 30 minutes.
Thank you.